So let's go ahead and create another test card. Test 1111, test, everybody likes test. We'll create that card, and of course I get redirected there, which isn't a great thing. But if I look in my command here, I can see that I received a message out of my queue that says, hey, create a card. Okay, so that is the actual command that was serialized, put it into the queue, and then my worker role pulled it out and is seeing what information is in there, and then it goes ahead and it says, hey, I'm going to create a new card for this particular user, and then I redirected the user back to the home page. So you can see how I have different queues working. I have different threads running within that worker role, monitoring different queues and doing different things at different intervals. So you can start kind of building out and kind of beefing up that worker role to do a number of different things. It doesn't have to monitor just one queue or just do one thing. You have a whole instance there. Take advantage of it and have some fun too. And then, lastly, one of the things you can do is once you start building off kind of this log of actions that you're doing, you can use a tool like Cloud Storage Studio from Cerebrata, or there's a few other ones out there. And I can start seeing what people are doing within my system. So if I look at, is it this one? I already generated a query, I thought. Yeah, it was this one. So I have this particular user. So this tool is actually kind of nice in that I can create queries of my table storage. So I should have said all my logs are being kept in table storage. So I'm using Cloud Storage Studio to query my tables in my Azure table storage tables for this particular user, 1034/7, and I just want to see what actions they took. And so this is actually going against brain credits, I believe. And so I can see over a course of time here. Let's just expand this up just a little bit. And shrink this down just a little bit. So it's going from the middle of June down to like April timeframe, that I can kind of recreate what that user did. So let's start here. They initially logged in at this particular time. Then they went to the home page. Then they requested a lesson list using this search criteria. Then they viewed this lesson. They posted the lesson to the transcript. They viewed it again. They went to the home page. They went to the about page. So I can almost track almost every single click and every single action that user is doing behind the scenes just by issuing very small little commands and letting kind of my CQRS system in the back end pick those commands up, say, oh, okay, I'm just going to log out right to the table storage and be done with it. But it's all being done asynchronously, all being done sort of behind the scenes. But I'm taking advantage of Azure queues and blobs and things like that to really make a system that not only just does stuff, but also gives me back information about how users are using the system. So let's see here. I think that's pretty much where I wanted to wrap up. Now I think I'm just about at the end of time. I think I ended it almost right on. Let me bring the presentation up here real quick. Hey, what happened? Brianna, you took over.
I didn't do it.
Oh, you didn't do it?
No, I didn't.
Oh. Oh, you know what? I clicked the wrong one. My fault. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to blame you. I was just kidding around. So anyway, worker roles can spawn multiple threads, and you can use table storage for logging users' actions and all sorts of stuff. So there's a lot out there in terms of what Azure provides you to kind of enhance your CQRS system. Gives you a nice set of kind of helper objects in terms of queues and tables and blobs to do some stuff. I didn't really talk about the cache. That's also there too to kind of help with that eventual consistency. You can take advantage of that too. There's just a lot out there, and it's pretty slick. So again, just some things to watch out for. I already talked about pulling the message queues, and definitely taking a look at batching your reads and writes just to cut down your transaction counts. Trying to, if you're doing table storage saves, use save with retries, because it will try to retry if it fails. And then sometimes the thing with queues is that you do have to keep in mind that queues are not, if you have multiple worker threads monitoring the same queue, or multiple worker roles monitoring the same queue, that it's possible that one particular message could be processed out of order. So you kind of have to take that into account too. So whether you timestamp them or do something like that, that is something to keep in mind. But that's not something new with Azure. That's I think general asynchronous processing types of issues. So with that, we talked a little bit about the controller. You can't claim credit for the session, so that brain credit site does work. So if you wanted to, you can go on there. It's ID 17210. All the slides are up there, so the link's there if you want it. And there's this list of resources here. Cloud Storage Studio is a very cool tool, so if you've ever had a chance to use it, just in terms of monitoring your objects out there with Azure, it's definitely a nice tool. Azure Watch is also a nice tool. I think the guy that wrote this, or at least his company, I think he spoke at this user group a couple months ago. But Azure Watch is a slick tool in terms of kind of automatically scaling out and scaling down your instances. That's pretty slick too. And then just a handful of CQRS sites that I found useful. And if you're trying to learn more about CQRS, trying to get up to speed on it, there's some good stuff here. If you really want to talk about or really learn about CQRS in Azure, Renee Abdullin's site here, he talks a lot about not just CQRS, but also CQRS with Azure. So he's done a lot with that, and he's a big player there. Although he looks like he's 16. But if you really are just starting out, Clarified CQRS by Udi Dahan is probably a great article to start with. That's kind of the main article I think a lot of people start with in terms of learning about CQRS. And then just going to the CQRS info, which is a great young site where he's kind of compiling a lot of information about CQRS. That's another great resource in terms of just learning about stuff, see how people are doing certain things, and all that. And then of course you always have the Google group that's out there, and there's always interesting discussions out there about how people are using CQRS and stuff like that. So I will, Fran, I don't know if there's a way I do have this code up on GitHub, but I don't have a link to it right now. I forgot what it was, and I have to go dig it up. I'm not sure if I can post that back out or if we can add it to the notes of the session afterwards. I'm not sure how you may want to do that, but if you guys want the code to Buzzy Go, it's out on GitHub. You can download it and play around with it and see what you want to do with it. And if anybody wants to help me write a Windows Phone app for it, let me know, because I think we all need some sort of entertainment during long foreign meetings. So, but that's all I had.
Well, David, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time to share all this information with us. And what I'll do is I will post, if you send them to me, I will post your slide deck to the Azure user group. And if at that point you want to include access, say the name again, Buzzy.
Oh, Buzzy Go?
Yep, the Buzzy Go. You can put it in there, and that way everybody will be able to access it.
Okay.
And so if you have a little bit of time, we do have a question, and I'm sure there might be a few others, so you can go ahead and submit those. But could you say a few more words about how you use App Fabric cache to indicate how work might still be pending? Are you using the cache to signal that work is pending on the website and then removing that item from the cache once your event handlers catch up?
Not quite. So on brain credits, I am using the App Fabric cache, the Azure App Fabric cache, to hold pending information on certain actions or for certain commands. I don't use it all the time. I only use it in very specific places. I indicate that there is work that is pending by within my controller. When I create the command and drop it on the queue, I will also create a cookie and send that cookie back down to the client along with the redirect request. And so that cookie will contain information saying, hey, this is still pending, or this action could have some pending information. You may want to check the cache. So the redirect request goes back down to the client along with the cookie. The redirect comes back up to the server along with the cookie, and then the controller actions checks to see if that cookie's there. If it's there, it will then check the cache to see if it's if that information is still there or not, and pull it out of the cache, and generally update the view with that information, or at least enhance the view with that information. And usually I will expire the cookie and expire the item. No, I will let the item expire in the cache automatically. So it's the way I'm doing it right now is sort of a one-time thing. If they were to hit F5 right after that view is rendered and the back end has not updated in time, then yeah, they might see an inconsistency there. But usually from everything I've seen, that would be very unlikely. But it could happen. So that's how I'm using Fabric Cache along with a cookie to indicate that there could be pending information and to check the cache for any pending or tentative information. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
There's a long answer to hopefully not a rambling answer to a short question.
Are there any other questions?
I think I put everybody to sleep.
No. Okay, well then I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here, and if any other questions come up, we can go back to them. So again, we meet the second Wednesday of every month from 3 to 4:30. Quick thanks to our sponsors, Intertech, Microsoft, Apress, JetBrains, Telerik, Infragistics, Celebrata, Component One, and Cloudberry. If you send me an email with subject line Azure User Group to bharrington@intertech.com with your name, your company, your phone, email, and mailing address, the first individual to do that will get Telerik's Get Addicted package. Second, Infragistics Net Advantage. Third, Component One, the choice of a studio for WPF, ASP.NET, Silverlight, WinForms, iPhone, Compact Framework, or ActiveX. Fourth will be JetBrains' choice of ReSharper or .trace or .cover. 5 is Celebrata, the cloud storage studio that you were talking about. And 6, the Cloudberry Lab Explorer Pro for Azure Blob Storage. So again, thank you to all our sponsors. These meetings and presentations wouldn't be possible without you. And our next meeting will be on load testing with Azure applications with VS 2010, and our presenter is Tim Starr. So thank you again so much for joining us. And David, thank you again for your presentation. I'm not seeing any more questions, so I will go ahead and post the slide to the Azure User Group website right after you send it to me, David. And,
okay, you got it.
And that's the link right there, AzureUserGroup.net. All right. Well, thanks so much, and we'll see you all next month.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.